All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unravel the fascinating and, highly textured story of lawn cotton fabric. We're going to look at the incredible science behind its vibrant prints, tracing a really cool journey from ancient artisanal crafts all the way to cutting-edge digital chemistry. If you love textiles, history, or honestly just want to know how your favorite summer clothes get those brilliantly permanent colors, you are in the exact right place. But first, we've got to talk about a massive cultural phenomenon. What fabric actually causes a literal seasonal frenzy known as lawn fever? Seriously, every spring, particularly in Pakistan and India, millions of people scramble and sometimes literally fight over the absolute newest intricately printed salwar kameez suits. These seasonal designs are so highly sought after, they've become this integral part of annual style culture, with popular styles fetching absurd sums of money. And the fabric at the absolute center of all this madness? Lawn. Part 1. Deconstructing lawn fabric. So, moving from that macro cultural impact down to the micro level, what actually makes this textile feel so crisp, sheer, and silky to the touch? Well, it all starts with this number, 150 to 200. That represents the high thread count typical of lawn fabric. Lawn's created using a really simple, plain weave structure, where weft threads alternate over and under warp threads. But the real secret to its luxurious feel is that it uses incredibly fine, combed or carded cotton yarns. Combing strips away the shorter fibers, resulting in much finer, softer yarns, which, when woven tightly together, give us that remarkably sheer and silky appearance. Now, looking at these specific technical specs, it's pretty easy to see why lawn is the absolute ultimate lightweight material for spring and summer garments. Its breathability and moisture-wicking abilities rate incredibly high, while it maintains a remarkably low risk of pilling or bubbling. It's exactly why designers absolutely love to use it for dresses, blouses, lingerie, and of course, those famous warm weather lawn suits. Part 2. The historical journey of lawn. But here's the crazy part. This fabric wasn't actually born in South Asia. Let's travel back in time for a second to trace how this crisp material traveled across the globe. Looking at the timeline, we can see how a fabric named after the French city of Laon, spelled Laon, evolved so dramatically. It actually started as a linen weave in Europe, but as trade brought Indian cotton into France, weavers shifted to this alternative fiber. French lawn then made its way back to India, where it was adopted for traditional garments. Finally, following the partition of India in 1947, the epicenter of massive lawn suit production shifted into the newly created state of Pakistan, firmly cementing its role in modern South Asian style culture. Part 3. The evolution of textile printing. Now, a huge part of that whole style culture is the visual design. Once you have this incredibly sheer, lightweight cotton surface, the core manufacturing challenge becomes, how on earth do you successfully apply highly detailed, color-fast designs without ruining that incredibly soft feel? Well, the oldest method to solve this is hand block printing. This is a deeply artisanal process with roots tracing back thousands of years. Artisans meticulously carve designs into wooden blocks, dip them in natural dyes, and press them onto the fabric entirely by hand. It is incredibly labor-intensive. You literally need a separate block for every single color. The result is this tactile, human touch evident in every repeat, complete with beautiful, distinct imperfections that really just give the fabric soul. But to meet the massive demand of things like lawn fever, the industry desperately needed a technological leap. Enter screen printing. By pressing ink through a mesh screen and a stencil, manufacturers could mass-produce vibrant, sharp graphics with incredible efficiency. It allowed for high-speed production and bold, opaque colors that were perfectly consistent across massive volumes of fabric. Part 4. The magic of reactive dyes. Okay, so how do those vibrant colors actually stay on the fabric, especially through countless summer washes? To answer that, we've got to zoom all the way in to the molecular level. This brilliantly illustrates the crucial difference between the two main types of modern printing. Pigment printing basically just paints the surface. It glues color particles onto the fabric using a binder, which can unfortunately leave the material feeling kind of stiff or rigid. Reactive printing, however, that's an actual chemical alteration. The dyes are designed to chemically bond directly with cellulose fibers, like our cotton lawn. Because it doesn't rely on a heavy surface binder, the fabric maintains its naturally soft, breathable texture. As our sources highlight, this molecular bond is the absolute secret behind the fabric's excellent wash fastness. Reactive dyes don't just sit on top of the fabric, they bond with the fiber. This means those vivid spring colors won't easily fade after multiple trips through the laundry, and the luxurious touch of the combed cotton remains totally uncompromised. But creating that bond, it's a highly demanding process known as wet printing. First up, we have the print paste formulation, mixing the dyes and thickeners. Second, it's printed onto the fabric. Third, it's dried to prevent any smearing. Fourth, and this is vital, it goes through fixation, often steaming, which is what actually triggers that chemical reaction between the dye and the fiber. And finally, after washing, thorough washing is absolutely essential here to remove any unfixed dye and thickeners to achieve that final, perfectly soft premium touch. Let's fast forward to the modern era and see how this tech builds on itself. Today, we have digital reactive printing. This acts a lot like a giant paper printer, using precision inkjet technology directly on the fabric. It allows designers to experiment with literally unlimited colors, photorealistic images, and incredibly intricate motifs with super rapid turnaround times, all while utilizing those exact same permanent, soft-feeling reactive dyes. Part 5: Sustainability and the Future. Now we have to pivot for a moment to look objectively at the environmental and human realities of mass-producing and printing these beautiful cotton textiles. What is the true cost of our global appetite for fabric? The sources are very clear about the facts here. Conventional cotton is frequently grown as a monocrop, utilizing chemical pesticides and fertilizers, which harms the soil. The cotton cultivation industries in several poverty-stricken producing nations are also rife with worker exploitation. Furthermore, while reactive printing gives us that incredibly soft and durable color, the required after-washing stage means it relies on very, very heavy water consumption. So the really crucial takeaway here is that alternative paths definitely do exist. The industry is increasingly turning to sustainable agricultural practices, like cultivating biodegradable organic cotton that avoids toxins and respects local labor. On the manufacturing side, cleaner processing technologies, such as low-water digital printing, are significantly reducing ecological damage. And global certifications like OECO-TEX are helping to ensure that these improved standards are actually being met, which, by the way, is exactly the kind of label you can look for on your own clothing tags. Which leaves us at this fascinating crossroads of ancient artistry, modern chemistry, and environmental responsibility. Will the flawless precision of digital reactive printing eventually erase the human charm of traditional imperfect block prints? Or will we see a future where sustainable, organic cotton becomes the new, uncompromising global standard for lawn? It's a deeply textured story that's still being written. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.